Are headlines like these stressing you out? I'm Dr. Judith, a board-certified psychiatrist, researcher, and award-winning content creator, and I'm going to give you some tips and tools to deal with headlines like this. First off, let me explain what happens in your brain. The amygdala, the fear center, gets revved up, which impacts your decision-making center, the prefrontal cortex, and also other parts of the brain that are important for memory and emotional regulation. Studies actually show that this type of exposure to news like this may cause something called collective trauma. So even if you're not in the region where these things are happening, you may exhibit a trauma response such as fight, freeze, flop, flight, or even fawn. Some people get really combative and argumentative. And studies suggest that news like this may cause people to, focus their argumentativeness towards certain groups. Studies also show that certain groups are more vulnerable to news like this, such as adolescents, teens. So it's important to be aware of limiting teen exposure to nonstop bad news. Adults also go through a range of emotions. Even though they're not in the region, they can have trauma responses as well. So it's important for them to limit negative news. You want to stay informed, but you don't need it 24/7. Studies also indicate that certain people with mental health conditions are more vulnerable to news like this. It may worsen their current state. Their sleep is usually one of the first signs that they're having this type of response to these headlines. So now that you know that there are a range of possible emotions to collective trauma, try to figure out which one you're going to fall into. Are you going to be in any of these categories? And then you can decide how you're going to deal with it. Becoming active and being in nature is something that's within your control that you can use to self-regulate. Being kind to others and donating your efforts and resources is another way to improve mental health and well-being and to give you a sense of agency. Leaning on faith-based groups and praying may be helpful for others. Meditation and breath work help you to calm that fight or flight and to keep you grounded and present. With trauma, it's important to limit exposure. So, take breaks from tech, turn the channel, find less stimulating ways to stay informed, like reading books about the history of these events. Stay informed about the cultures of the people involved to humanize them. And look at the past. In the past, when there were similar types of headlines, people channeled this into art. They put it into music. Remember Jimi Hendrix's performance at Woodstock? Artists at that time used their creative efforts to motivate others to create positive change. And most importantly, be kind. If you're going to express yourself, just think about other people. Kindness and helping others goes a long way. I've traveled the world to understand cultural psychiatry. What should I cover next?